By Arizona State University. We were joined by head coach Greg Powers, as well as graduate student forward Artem Shlaine. The Sun Devils, in their inaugural season in the NCHC, finished in second place and earned a trip to their first Frozen Faceoff in St. Paul. They will be playing in the first semifinal on Friday against Denver at 4 p.m. Central Time. For those that are just joining or were not on the previous media calls, if you have a question, please type your name or the word question in the chat. I will call upon you. Otherwise, please try to keep your line muted so we can keep distractions and background noise to a minimum. Is there anyone who does not have recording privileges that needs recording privileges right now? All right. There we go. Yeah, feel free to request if you need any recording privileges. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with questions for the player first. So we'll start with questions for Artem. And then once he's finished, we'll let him go and we'll open it up for questions for Coach Powers. So with that, we'll open up for questions for Artem. Just put your name or type in the chat. We will start it off. Ooh, lots of questions. We'll start off with Peter South, College Hockey West.
Hi, Artem. Good to see you. You switched conferences after a full season in the NCHC. What are your thoughts?
I think college hockey just overall very competitive. Every conference has its own little benefits, but obviously NCHC, in my opinion, from the two other conferences I played with, is the best in college hockey. Just the pace of play, players. It's like a mix of skill, speed, and grit. So definitely loving it this year.
Good, thank you.
Love to hear it, Artem. Next, we'll go to Matt Semich, USCHO.
Hey Artem, so you're kind of talking a little bit about kind of like what you've had with Arizona State so far. Can you give us kind of like a brief outline of what the Arizona State coach's sales pitch was to you when they were recruiting you, and what is it that's what is it that is playing in this conference has set the NCHC apart for you compared to what you had at Northern and UConn? Thanks.
I think first part of your question, the biggest sales pitch for me, I've been in the portal twice already, and it's not about, the brain shiny new arena or, all the other kind of bonus stuff for me. It's about the coaches, the coaching staff, the staff, and the players in the locker room. Like looking just at the roster right away, you can see the potential of that team and that we're going to be really, really good. And I don't know how other people didn't see it and they missed it, and it's on them. But I think we're proving people wrong. And that's what drives our and motivates us. We're proving our followers right and proving the people who didn't believe in us wrong. Um, I think overall, when I just started talking to the coaches, it's just like that belief in me as a player that they would give me an opportunity. And I think they were honest and, they kind of gave me an opportunity. I think I ran with it, and I'm really happy with how the season has gone. But we're not done yet, and we're going to Minneapolis to win this thing.
He also wanted to play for the most handsome staff.
Definitely. Thanks, Artem. Uh, Next question to Dylan Pescator, Blaze Radio.
Hey Artem, this weekend you got to play with Charlie Shane again, and it looked like he was at his best maybe in his entire ASU career. Can you talk about what he brought to your line and how strong he was in those two games against Duluth?
I think Charlie is a really fast and skilled player, and some people might not see it, but he's really good on the wall. I think he bought in. He bought in defensively as well, and bought in into the little details, and I think that's why he's so successful last weekend. I think he was fresh, and that helped our line a lot with me and Ryan. And he's made unbelievable plays, but also what kind of goes unseen is him battling for every puck. Like the first goal on Saturday, he gets in there against bigger defensemen, gets the puck for us, and then we end up scoring a goal. Um, Playing overtime, kind of tough pass to him in his skates, turns around, shields it from the defenseman, gives it to Kerwin, and then the story from there. He's been really good on and off the ice. The past couple of weeks, and he's been helping our team a lot.
Thanks, Artem. Next up, we have Sean Brennan, Cronkite Sports.
Hey Artem, I want to talk to you about Saturday because after that first period, you were down 3-0, but you said there's really no panic in that locker room. You were convinced that you're going to win, and then you did end up winning. So, what does an experience like that do for your team heading into this stretch run?
I think just going into the game on Saturday, we just had a game plan and we followed it. And getting a win like this just for the kind of the rest of the playoffs for us tells us doesn't matter how many goals because Friday and Saturday were two completely different first periods for our team. And just for the rest of the season, it tells us like it doesn't matter what the score is. If you stick to your plan and you keep doing the little things, you're going to get rewarded. So I think kind of for the rest of the time, we're just focusing on our process and focusing on being good as a team, playing the right way, and we just surrender the outcome and get the results at the end of the day.
Thank you. Next, Eric List plays radio.
Hey, Artem. The success against Denver this year has been really, really strong. How do you guys emulate that here in Minnesota?
I believe we're a really good team when we're fresh, and I think coaches are doing everything for us to be fresh come Friday. They're a really skilled team. They're really good up and down the rink. So we just got to stick again to our plan of putting pucks behind them and kind of grinding them down, playing our game because we're a fast team too, and we can make plays as well. So it's going to come down who's going to play a more kind of grittier game, I would say, and get kind of on the defenseman more, and bury their chances at the end of the day.
Scott Strandy, College Hockey West.
Artem, you guys have been known as an experienced, deep, old team. Coach Powers, I know, loves those kinds of teams, but does that give you an advantage playing in tough games like this? Like, you never panic. You know what it's like. You've been through a series like this. Now it's one and done. Are you guys
I,
ready?
I think we've been gaining experience as the season has gone, and we've been through some tough games where we lost at the end of games and we could have won. But I feel like we've won games too that probably we didn't deserve to win. And at the end of the day, you gain that experience throughout the season, and you try to put it together at the end and make a run. For us, I think we have a lot of guys coming from different teams and having different experiences, and I think our freshmen have matured so much throughout this year. So as we go against Denver. I believe Denver is the most experienced team in college hockey with the past success they've had in a couple past years, winning the national titles and the NCHC. So it's going to be a really good matchup for us, but I don't think we lack any experience to them.
Thanks, Artem. Next up, we have Gabby Chernoff, Sun Devil Source.
Hi, Artem. Talking to Aiden Thompson for Denver, he said that he's, from an internal standpoint, they're a little bit extra aware of both you and Kerwin going into this weekend. And whenever you guys are on the ice, they kind of have to be on a little bit more high alert. How does that, if at all, change an approach for you and kind of the top line as a whole going into this weekend?
I think it's a compliment from that side, and you work your whole season to kind of and you want other players to be aware of you on the ice because when that happens, the good thing about our team, we don't have two players who play, and if we play good, we're gonna win the game. We have four lines who can play, and if one line is not going, the other guys are gonna pick each other up. That's the difference between us and many teams in college hockey, I believe. And so they better be aware when everyone's on the ice and not just two guys.
Next, Jack Janes, Cronkite Sports.
Hey Artie, you guys start the season 3-7-1, battled injuries all year, and then on Saturday you're missing a guy like Kyle Smolin, and you're trailing the whole game. What is it about this team that keeps you guys persevering through adversity throughout the whole season?
I think, especially on Saturday, just the past experiences. We've been down to Denver a couple weekends ago, and it was I think 4-1 in the third period or 5-2, and we came back, won it in overtime. Um, it's just the past experiences that when you sit in the locker room on Saturday, you just have that internal belief of we're gonna win this game. Like we just gotta get. We're not going to win the game in the first 5 minutes. We're not going to win the game in the first period, second period, but we're going to win at the end. When the buzzer sounds, we're going to be on top. and that builds up with our past experiences of every player, experiences of our coaching staff. So we believe in our team, and we believe that we can get it done this weekend.
Thank you. Next, hopefully I'll get this right. We have Michael Caratanuto from Pitchfork Lunch, I believe.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Hey, Artem, you mentioned on Saturday too, obviously the experience that you have and going through it, being one of the older guys on the team. But for the young guys, you mentioned they got experience, but to be in that playoff atmosphere, how did you feel that their nerves were, and how important is that for them to be, I guess, have that experience like you said, but be a little bit calmer going into this weekend's game against Denver?
I think they all did well. Like, obviously everyone's gonna make their little mistakes here and there. Even like I make mistakes, all the other grad students make mistakes, seniors make, it doesn't matter who you are, freshman, senior, sophomore, everyone's gonna make mistakes, but it's how you're gonna respond, right? I think the freshmen did really well, especially like Brazen Bozer, great play in the third period to tie the game. And I think he's been one of the most mature guys from the freshmen, and helping us on the back end a ton, playing big minutes, and he's going to be a big piece of this team next year for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Next, Dylan Pescator.
Hey, Artem, I know to start the year, a lot of injuries where guys weren't getting the results that you wanted to, but how big was it to go into Denver and sweep that team that was undefeated at the time? What kind of turning point of the season was it for you guys to go up there and do that?
I think we've been playing good hockey even before we went up to Denver. We've been playing the right way, and maybe just we weren't getting the results we wanted, but we knew that we had, you would say that formula of winning, of kind of getting the job done, playing the right way. And at Denver, I think everything just clicked. And I think it wasn't like we found the formula. I think we kind of validated the formula for ourselves, and we kind of found out that we were playing right the whole way. It just clicked at that moment. And since then, I think we've been doing the same exact thing over and over every weekend and getting results just because we validated for ourselves, and nobody from then has wavered from it.
Thanks, Artem. Next, we have Steve Peters inside the coaches' room.
Hey Artem, the slogan at ASU hockey is be the tradition. So many players on this team right now have come from other teams and entered through the portal. How did this team come together so quickly, and how did you become a part of that ASU tradition?
I think it all started in the summer, when all the transfers kind of get in and the freshmen get in early and we get our workouts in, and you just start gelling right away, right? You do team events, you start hanging out with each other, getting to know the guys off the ice. And I believe the biggest thing is when you're close off the ice, that's when the on ice chemistry clicks. That's where guys can pick each other up if someone's not having a great game. Um, but we struggled in the beginning of the year to find kind of the right balance, maybe. But we were playing well, and I think now everything is kind of clicking, and we're playing the right way. Um, we're getting like the puck balances here and there, and overall, I think our team just has this internal belief. Doesn't matter what happens from the outside, as far as we're playing and are extending our season game by game and competing, we're happy, and we're looking forward to this weekend, especially.
Thanks, Artem. Any other questions for our Player of the Year finalist and first team All-NCHC selection before we let him go? All right. Oh, wait, I have one more. Oh, no, I think you're good, Artem. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Safe travels up to St. Paul tomorrow, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right, and with that, we'll now turn our attention to head coach Greg Powers. So again, if you have questions, type in the chat and I will call upon you. We'll open it up with Jess Myers, St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Hi, Greg, and welcome back to Minnesota. I'm old enough where I can remember an NHL team leaving town and college hockey being the big show in the Twin Cities for a while there when the North Stars departed. Just what has Sun Devil hockey meant to hockey in Arizona this year with the NHL leaving a void there?
I think it's meant to our hockey community a ton. It's a huge void, and I don't think anybody can fill the void of the National Hockey League. That's not going to happen until it returns. But, we have done a great job of being active in the community and obviously, giving the hockey community something to really be excited about. They've been incredible to us, most importantly, packing mullet every night. And as the season went on and as stakes became more and more elevated, you could feel the energy get even better and better in the building. So it's been a fun year, being able to give the hockey community something to cheer for and be excited about. And I think it's been a year that we have grown so much, in the community that next year it's just going to continue to get better and better.
And is that maybe a selling point of your program that, hey, we're in a community of 5 million people and this is the big show as far as hockey goes?
I think it has to be. I mean, you look at some of the videos and you reflect on last weekend, playoff hockey, first time any sort of playoff hockey at a very high level has been in the valleys, since 2012, and the environment was outrageously good. So it's a huge selling point. I don't know what player could look at those videos and not want to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we'll go to Matt Semish, USCHO.
Hey, Greg, this is a kind of a general question, but how has the season gone being in a conference? I mean, has it met your expectations? And how does it inform kind of like your recruiting process going forward?
It's far exceeded. We knew it would enhance our student athlete experience in every way, and just the competitive nature of being in a league and developing rivalries and playing a team more than one weekend on the season. It's been unbelievable. To have standings to update and teams to chase or stay ahead of or whatever it is, was something that we have never experienced. We experienced it this year, and usually, other than the year we made the tournament, and then obviously the year that we were going to where it got canceled, we've been done. We've been done right now, and watching the games on TV. And last year I was at the Frozen Faceoff and went up to it and watched it in person. And we're watching all these conference tournaments and teams play on big stages, and have felt a lot of times we were good enough to be there. We just didn't have the opportunity because we were an independent. So being in a league has changed I think the trajectory of our program in a really positive way. Kids want to compete for championships, and if we were not in the NCHC in this specific league, especially, I don't think we'd have, a lot of the kid that you just talked to, he wouldn't be here. Ryan Kerwin wanted to play in the NCHC, and so did, Cruz Lucius and Bennett Shimmick and Luke Pavicic and Noah Beck. So it's changed the trajectory of our program on many levels.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. Thanks for doing this.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Good stuff. Next, we'll go to Jack Janes, Cronkite Sports.
Hey, Coach. Just how's Kyle Smolin doing?
He's on the mend. He's on the mend. So we'll see. He's out of the hospital. It was pretty much precautionary. He was there for 3 days, but we're hoping he gets cleared. It may not be this weekend, but if we can get through this weekend with some good results and punch our way through to NCAA tournament play, we're confident he'll at least be available for that. So we're waiting to hear on this weekend. It's probably 50-50, but he's going to be okay.
Good to hear. Next, we will go to Leah Merrill.
Hello. The circumstances of this weekend are obviously a little bit different. Last weekend, you were coming off a bye. It was a best of 3 series and at home. Now you're headed to a neutral site, and it's best of 1. How does your approach change to this weekend's games?
Yeah, I mean, I just urgency, desperation, all those things. I think that the message, really from me consistently since Saturday has been, hey, like every time you put on our jersey, it could be your last for the guys that are out of eligibility. And we believe if our guys play with that urgency and desperation of not making it their last, we love our chances against anybody. We've been as good as anyone in the country for the last, I think, 2/3 of the season. And if we play with a certain level of urgency and desperation, we like our chances again, like I said. So it's just consistent messaging and making sure the guys, no matter what the result is, leave it all out there, and I'm confident that they will.
Thanks, Coach. Next, Adam Wood on College Hockey News.
Yeah, Coach, I think recently you've started Gibson back-to-back one weekend, Luke back-to-back another weekend. I'm having a hard time figuring out your pattern. Do you know is the question, I guess.
Yeah, that's on purpose, Adam. Just try to confuse you as much as I can. No, it's a lot of it's gut, a lot of it's practice. Both guys have done a good job sharing the load, and at this point, a lot of it's matchup. And who's had more success against what team previously, things like that. So they both have put us in this position. Luke was good for us on Friday. I thought Saturday it was again. It wasn't. They scored three nice goals, and we're on 3-0, and you just try to get your guys a little bit of a jolt of energy and change the mojo a little bit, and Gibby went in and shut the door, and we were able to get the win. So it's a lot of it right now is just matchup related and how they're looking in practice.
And just to follow up on that with the defensively, I was watching your games this weekend. I don't know, your defense was giving me a heart attack a little bit just because you guys, play wide open. I mean, you seem comfortable like that. I mean, do you have to tighten that up a little bit this week against Denver, or are you comfortable with sort of, an offensive game?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how we're built. We're not a big stout, team. I don't think defensively overall throughout the season we haven't been a bad defensive team. The numbers show that. But this weekend it was a little too wide open. I felt like the bye week definitely affected the detail in the D zone, and the return to D zone and some of the things that we were doing, and that's literally all we've been talked about and focused on in practice yesterday and today was shoring those things up, and that's what we did so well up in Denver was defend and make sure that we weren't sacrificing defense for offense. Because if you sacrifice defense for offense against Denver, um, there's some pretty bad things that are going to happen to you, So we'll be definitely focused more on the defensive side of the puck Friday than the offensive side of the puck. We believe that we have the depth and skill and the speed and the dynamic players up and down our lineup, where if we play the right way, the offense will take care of itself.
Thanks, Greg. Next, Sean Brennan, Cronkite Sports.
Hey, Coach. You guys have had a great power play this year, number 3 in the nation. Denver's at number 2. I know the special teams battle is always a point of emphasis, but how much more important is it when you're going against such a good power play unit?
Yeah, they're lethal. You have to be disciplined against these guys, and if you're not, they're going to make you pay. So I'm sure they're saying the same thing. They don't want to see themselves a man down against our power play either. So, if we can keep it to a 5-on-5 game, we've been really good. We've been really good 5-on-5, and obviously penalties are going to happen, but they just have to be hockey plays. They can't be selfish, retaliatory, ozone type penalties in situations like we're going into. So it's just more really focusing on discipline more than anything.
Next, we've got looks like Eric List, Blaze Radio.
Hey, Coach, and I kind of want to follow up with that. What has made the structure of the Denver power play so good
Well,
from your
they're
point of view?
obviously, yeah, I mean, they're obviously incredibly well coached. I mean, they have a great staff led by DC, who's arguably the best coach in college hockey, if not definitely one of them. And Tavis and Dallas have both been head coaches at the Division I level. So their staff is incredible. They know what they're doing, and they do a great job recruiting elite talent that fits the way that they want to play and the identity that they have. And when you have players as good as they have, and you got an extra guy on the ice and all that skill and all that IQ, you're going to see a power play execute to the level that they do. So I think it's mostly obviously just really, really good players, but they do such a great job, establishing what those what the identity of those players needs to be, and that's why they've had so much success all over, not just on the power play.
Next, Scott Strandy, College Hockey News, or sorry, College Hockey West.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you here in St. Paul. Um, you have a lot of Minnesotans and some young Minnesotans on your roster. Are you worried at all about that they might be a little too excited, a little too impressed to do things at the XL Energy Center?
No, I talked to some of them this morning, and none of them have ever played at Excel. I think Shim has practiced at Excel once, but nobody's actually played a game. Andover didn't make it. Wayzata didn't make it with Tuck. And Gentry didn't make it with Cruz and Shim. So none of them have played there. They're excited about it. But I'm not worried about it. It's at the end of the day, it's a 200 by 85 ice sheet, and if we treat it any other way, then shame on us.
Makes sense. A couple more questions. We'll go to Jake Sloan, Devil's Digest.
Hey, Coach, you guys have been in close games throughout the season, specifically in conference play with a lot of the games coming down to overtime, one-goal games. How much has the veteran presence helped with that throughout the season, especially now going into the postseason?
Yeah, it's why we built the roster the way we did. We wanted to go heavy into the portal and clear out space to bring in elite players that had been through conference play, conference playoffs, all these things. So, again, while we are a program that hasn't been through a conference postseason, we're not a team full of players that haven't been. A lot of the guys in that room have been through it. And now we've got 2 games under our belt, 2 really tight knit games, tight close games, with a great team in Duluth, and our guys feel good. They're confident and excited, and I can say that we all are down here.
Thanks, Coach. Looks like we got 4 more. We'll cut it off after Eric. So, Gabby Chernoff, back to you.
Hey, Coach. You've talked since the beginning of the season about how this is the deepest roster your program has ever seen. How have they kind of performed to that in your mind from your preseason expectations, and how rewarding is it to see them earn this opportunity this weekend?
Yeah, it's incredibly rewarding, because of how banged up we were the first third of the year, and that directly correlates into how deep we are, right? So, we haven't had, there's been 1 game this season where we've had a completely healthy lineup, of what we projected our top 12 forwards and 6 or 7D to be, not one. So, Benji obviously is a huge loss. He's our one of our biggest leaders and pieces of sandpaper, and one of our best checkers, and you need those guys in playoff hockey. And then obviously Smoley, if he's not in this weekend, he's one of our other best checkers. So when they're both out against Duluth and you find a way to win, it's just been a microcosm of our season. Our guys have just really become accustomed to this is just how it is. We're a deep team that has a lot of weapons and guys that can fill in when guys are out, and that's just the way it's been for us. So it's the only way we know. And we found a way to become successful with that mindset. So really proud of the group for just figuring it out, and not using those injuries as an excuse to have a failed year. It would have been really easy to do. So really proud of them, and yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to see what we could accomplish with a fully healthy team the entire season. But we are where we are, and we control our destiny, and we got to go up and find a way to get 2 wins.
3 more. Dylan Pescator, Blaze Radio.
Coach, talking about the PK, if you don't have Kyle this weekend, your PK1 is not there that you planned back in October. We saw Ty play a little PK earlier. Who are the other guys that we can see kind of step up in that role?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
saw
next
Ryan as
man
well.
up. We've had Kerwin ready and had him take reps, and he got some reps live this weekend and did a great job. He's got a good IQ. He's got a good stick. He'll eat a puck. Dylan Jackson is another guy that can easily kill for us. Ryan Alexander, Cole Gordon. So we have guys that can do it. Obviously our top PK pair has always been Smalley and Benji, and they're both probably out. So it's next man up. That's just like to take off of Gabby's last question. That's how we've operated this season. It's the only way this team knows how to go, and guys will just get the job done. We have no other choice.
And then just a quick follow-up on that in terms of Ryan Alexander. How impressive was he this weekend and kind of getting back to where he was that second half of his freshman year with his fresh
Yeah.
legs?
Really good. Just he was playing when he plays in straight lines and can play downhill. He's really effective against anybody, and he did that, especially Friday. Saturday was a tough game to get the fourth line really heavily involved because we got down. We were chasing the game the whole pretty much the whole game. So it was tough to get them a lot of ice. But Friday they were really good. They did exactly what you need them to do, and he was a big reason for that.
Two more. Back to Michael Caratanudo, Pitchfork Lunch.
Hey, Coach, when obviously you talked about it a lot last week, playing Minnesota Duluth for a fifth and sixth time, now playing Denver for a fifth time. But when you get, I mean, an overtime goal like that and momentum, and yes, you have to prepare for Denver. But man, how much electricity and momentum does that just give your team going in to this fifth matchup against Denver?
I mean, obviously, it was a great moment for our program to win a playoff series at home, and do it in front of our fans and our building. And I think that's the biggest piece of that moment. But the biggest thing for us was we didn't want to play Sunday. We wanted to rest, and we knew there was a good chance that obviously we'd get Denver if they won, and after a 3-3, so our guys are going to be fresh. And that was, going into the game, the staff really didn't address it with the players, but the staff internally, really just did not want to come to the rink on Sunday. We wanted to rest and watch and from home and just relax. And when we went down 3-0, it didn't look good. We looked like we were probably going to have to come here and gut out a game three, but the guys got it done. And it was more about just getting it over with in 2 games and making sure we could be as fresh as possible heading into St. Paul.
And then quick follow-up. I mean, Ryan, obviously with the 25 goals, but Lucas, I mean, this season and guys with the assists, finding the pucks, and it goes to my question goes to obviously the depth and where you guys started the season, mixing guys up back and forth. But with how Lucas has been able to find guys, I mean, what have you seen from the growth of his game and the guys just getting the puck from him and putting it in the back of the net?
That's just what he's always done. His IQ is special, and he has 2 brothers, both one's a full-time NHLer, the other probably will become one. Lucas, you could argue, is actually a better player. He unfortunately got his mom's genes. He's smaller, right? But he's a playmaker. He thinks the game probably better than anybody we've had. And our power play success these last 2 years, it's all because of him. And I mean, Hicksy does an unbelievable job with our power play. But what he does really well is just he lets Silly do whatever Silly wants. You get Silly the puck on the flank and he goes downhill. There's 3 or 4 options and one's going to be open and he finds a way to find that open option every time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. I know you got to head off to talk to Mr. Starman and CBS Sports Network. So Eric, List, Blaze Radio, make it a quick last question, but a good one.
Yep, I'll follow it up there. What do you think kind of about your middle 2 lines performance this weekend, that Potter and Jackson line both?
Thought they were really good. I thought they were really good, especially Saturday. Dylan had a big goal. Shim scored, obviously, Friday. Potsy played really well Saturday. I thought Cruz had his best overall game on Saturday when I put him with the Twins. He was moving his feet and attacking space, and he looked like he finally starting to find his legs a little bit. So they were good. I thought everybody needed to do something to help us get a sweep, and they did.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate the time today.
Thanks, guys.
Safe travels up to St. Paul tomorrow, and good luck this weekend. We'll see you in a day or two.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
And thanks to all the media that stuck around either just for this session or for the full 2 hours today. Appreciate it. It was certainly a good time, and hope you all found it informative and helpful with your jobs. I will be sending out the recordings of all these to everyone if you were on my list or email yesterday about this. So if anyone needs a recording, I will send those out. Hopefully I'll see several of you in St. Paul here in a couple days, and if I can do anything else, let me know. Thanks.